Hey, what's up, everybody? Chris here, and I wanted to take a minute to talk about the price of YouTube TV. So, you may have seen the news that recently it went up in price, I believe about $10 per month. So, at this point, YouTube TV is somewhere on the order of $84 per month, and it's generated a good bit of conversation about the sustainability of streaming television services and whether or not it's worth it. We have YouTube TV in our house, we actually really enjoy it a lot. It's not without its faults. I mean, sometimes, if for some reason the internet gets bogged down, you get kind of that garbled, pixelated mess of a picture, which doesn't happen that often. We've got 300 gigabytes, whatever it is, fiber through AT&T. But at $84 a month now, you're kind of expecting a lot from it, right? So I did a little bit of research here to see, is the price out of control at this point? Because $10 a month is a big jump, and this is not obviously the first time it happened. If memory serves, when YouTube TV first started, it was somewhere on the order of $35, $40 a month, and it has incrementally gone up. Of course, the messaging that's put out there is that it costs, from YouTube that is that it costs a lot to continue to add channels, and the cost of, these services just, are relative to how much the different channels themselves, are sort of worth, I guess, if you want to look at it that way. But doing a little bit of research here, my question kind of became after this recent price jump, should I just get back to cable? Is it worth doing that? So I've got my local plan pulled up here. So we've got a couple of options in our area, and I think everybody does now too. I mean, but if you think about standard, I guess, cable, even though I don't know that this would be streaming necessarily, but Spectrum Cable, which is in our area. I live in the Charlotte area. I'm in North Carolina. If I were to get the TV Select Signature package, which comes with 150 plus channels, that's $95 a month. That is the cheapest plan that's available here. Now, if I look at something like Hulu TV or Hulu Live TV, and sort of compare the cost there. So Hulu with ads plus live TV is $83 a month. So essentially it's exactly the same as what YouTube TV now charges. If you just get the live TV only, it's $81.99. So it's literally a dollar difference. So I don't know why you wouldn't do that. But it is interesting, right? I mean, if I think about the other streaming services that we have, I mean, we have Disney Plus, we've got Max, formerly HBO Max, but Max, I still call it HBO Max. Paramount Plus, Peacock, Netflix, Apple TV, like, at some point, it feels like there's going to be a bubble that bursts. There's going to be a breaking point with all of this because it's just a lot. I mean, now I will say, in one capacity or another, we do use all of those here and there. I would actually say currently Netflix is the one that I use the least, which that used to not be the case. I used to previously use, I should say, Netflix all the time. I don't use it all that much now. I found myself using more now, frequently Peacock, because of new out of the theater movies that end up on there more frequently. I find myself using Max because of things like Dune Prophecy. Disney Plus, I'm watching Skeleton Crew. So there is use cases for those. Are they worth the amount of money we're paying? I don't know, but I feel like eventually, if the cost of things like YouTube television and Hulu Live TV and all of that keep going up, something will have to give. I mean, I'm not going to want to keep paying for all of these services indefinitely, especially, I mean, if YouTube TV is approaching $100 a month, which inevitably that will happen, right? I mean, given a long enough timeline, and it could be within the next couple of years, that just that starts to be a lot, right? I will say though, but I guess most cable packages offer this too, but I will say though, it is nice with YouTube TV that you can access it from anywhere, right? If I'm traveling to visit my parents, if we're on a family trip somewhere, we can pull it up on our phones, and you have access to your information there. You've got access to all of your recordings. I think most cable services now, like Spectrum, also offer a streaming option where you can do very similar things. So really, at this point, they're all kind of in line with one another with price. So to answer the original question that I'm posing here, is the pricing of YouTube TV with the recent increase, is it just out of control? I think it's a lot, and I think it's unfortunate. But when you compare it to factually the other options out there, it's kind of in line with them. So I understand why they felt the need to increase it. But a $10 per month jump in a short period of time, that is kind of hard to stomach, hard to digest. So I don't know. I'm not sure that this can continue. I think the first company that manages to bundle not just YouTube TV, but a good number of the more popular streaming services into a manageable price point that can be sustainable, which I don't know if that can be a real thing, will probably jump out ahead. But at this point, the a la carte stuff is starting to become a lot, right? Now, I will say, if a company were to offer, like YouTube or whoever else were to offer, you can pay for the History Channel, or you can pay for ESPN, which you can get ESPN Plus. That's a little bit different than ESPN, the channel, I believe. But if you can just pick and choose a few of those things, that would be good. Because even on YouTube TV, we don't watch all the channels that we have there, right? I mean, there are a lot of channels that go unwatched. It's really things like ESPN2, ESPN, maybe Discovery. I mean, it's a handful of things, but a lot of the channels aren't watched, but it's just part of the package deal. And I think for people my age, right? I mean, I'm 42. I think having sort of the menu and having sort of the live TV experience with all the options is something that's almost comforting because we're used to that having grown up in the cable era. But for younger generations, I don't know if they really care about that. I think if there were a more true a la carte option that was reasonably priced, then people would jump into that. But anyway, I'm kind of rambling at this point. I'm curious about what you think. Is YouTube TV pricing too much? I mean, I kind of wrestled with this when it jumped, but ultimately it's really, from what I can tell, in line with every other live TV service. So it just is what it is in this day and age. But let me know what you think about this down in the comments below. And as always, thanks so much for watching.